Title: God is still writing your love story, the promise behind the waiting. And as you continue walking into the days ahead, remember that God is not only preparing the blessing you have been waiting for, but He is also preparing you to receive it with a heart full of wisdom, patience, and love. Sometimes the greatest miracles are not revealed in a single moment. They are built quietly through ordinary days. Through prayers that nobody hears. Through battles that nobody sees. Through choices to keep believing even when the path feels unclear. God sees every hidden struggle. He knows every silent question. He understands every moment when you wondered, "Lord, when will my season change?" And His answer has always been filled with love. "Trust me. I am working." The same God who created the heavens is capable of aligning hearts, restoring dreams, and opening doors that no human hand can close. Do not measure God's faithfulness by your current circumstances. A seed buried beneath the soil may look forgotten. But beneath the surface, life is already beginning. In the same way, your prayers are not lost. Your hopes are not ignored. Your future is not delayed without purpose. God is arranging moments you cannot yet see. He is preparing conversations you have not yet had. He is guiding paths that have not yet crossed. One day, you will look back and understand why certain doors closed. Why certain relationships ended. Why certain seasons required patience. You will realize that God was protecting you from what you thought you needed and leading you toward what He knew was best. The love that comes from God will not bring confusion. It will bring peace. It will not pull you away from Him. It will draw you closer to Him. So continue becoming the person God has called you to be. Continue growing in faith. Continue serving with love. Continue choosing kindness, even in seasons of waiting. Because the greatest love stories are not only written by two people. They are written by a God who knows the beginning, the middle, and the ending. And when His perfect timing arrives, you will not have to force what He has ordained. What belongs to you through His will find its way to you. Until that day, keep your heart open. Keep your faith alive. Keep walking with confidence. Because the author of your story has not finished writing. The next chapter may be closer than you think. And when it arrives, you will understand that the waiting was never a punishment. It was preparation. It was protection. It was God's way of creating something far greater than you imagined. Trust Him. Believe Him. Follow Him. Your testimony is still being written. Title: When God Aligns Two Hearts, the Blessing After the Waiting. And when the moment finally comes, you will discover that God's timing was never late. It was always perfectly aligned with His purpose. The person you have been praying for is not just someone God is bringing into your life. They are someone God has been shaping, growing, and preparing according to His plan. Before two hearts come together, God often works within each heart separately. He teaches patience where there was impatience. He brings healing where there was pain. He builds character where there was weakness. He creates faith where there was uncertainty. Because a beautiful relationship is not built only on emotions. It is built on two people who have allowed God to transform them. The love God prepares will not be based only on attraction. It will be rooted in understanding, respect, kindness, forgiveness, and a shared desire to walk closer to Him. You will look back at the lonely seasons and realize they were not wasted. Every prayer shaped you. Every challenge strengthened you. Every moment of waiting brought you closer to the person you were becoming. Sometimes God removes distractions because He is protecting your destiny. Sometimes He closes certain chapters because He is preparing a better one. What feels like a delay today may become the very reason you receive something greater tomorrow. Never forget. God knows the desires of your heart. He knows the dreams you have never spoken aloud. He knows the love you hope to experience. And if that desire is part of His perfect plan, nothing can prevent what He has chosen to bring together. So keep your heart peaceful. Do not chase what God is preparing. Do not fear what God is arranging. The right blessing will not require you to lose your identity. It will help you become more of who God created you to be. One day, you will sit beside the person God prepared for you and realize the waiting was worth it. You will understand that every unanswered prayer was leading somewhere. Every tear was watering a future you could not yet see. Every season of growth was preparing a love that could stand strong. Until then, keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep becoming. Because the same God who started your story will faithfully complete it. And the love He writes will always be worth the wait. And as this journey continues, remember that God's plans are always greater than the moments we can understand. There may have been times when you questioned the silence. Times when you wondered why the answer had not arrived yet. Times when your heart felt tired from waiting. But every season had a purpose. God was not ignoring your prayers. He was preparing the foundation for something stronger. The greatest blessings are often built in hidden places. Before a tree stands tall, its roots grow deep beneath the ground. Before a beautiful testimony is shared, there are often quiet chapters of faith and endurance. Your story is being shaped in ways you cannot always see. God is teaching you how to love with patience, how to forgive with grace, how to remain faithful even when circumstances change. Because the love that lasts is not created only through perfect moments. It is strengthened through understanding, commitment, and a heart that chooses love every day. The person God brings into your life will not complete you because you were incomplete. They will walk beside you as you both continue becoming everything God has called you to be. Together, you will discover that God's timing was protecting something precious. The moments you thought were empty were actually filled with preparation. The prayers you thought were unanswered were being carried by His hands. The dreams you thought were fading were being preserved by His promises. Never lose hope. The same God who guided you through difficult seasons will guide you into seasons of joy. One day, you will see the beauty of the entire journey. You will understand why certain paths ended. Why certain doors remained closed. Why patience was required. And your heart will say, God knew what He was doing all along. Until that day arrives, keep walking in faith. Keep choosing peace. Keep trusting His plan. Because your story is not ending in waiting. It is moving toward a beautiful chapter that God has already begun writing. The promise is still alive. The purpose is still unfolding. And the best is still ahead. And when the season of fulfillment finally arrives, you will look back and see every moment differently. The nights when you cried in silence. The days when you felt uncertain. The prayers you repeated again and again. You will realize that none of them were forgotten. God was using every moment to shape your heart and prepare you for the blessings ahead. Sometimes, the greatest answers do not come quickly because God is not only preparing the blessing. He is preparing the person who will receive it. He is building strength where there was weakness. He is creating wisdom where there was confusion. He is growing patience where there was a desire for immediate answers. Because God's gifts are not only meant to make us happy. They are meant to help us fulfill the purpose He has placed within us. The love that comes from God will bring peace to your soul. It will encourage your faith. It will remind you of His goodness. You will not have to live in fear of losing what God has ordained. What He establishes is held by His grace. So do not let past disappointments define your future. Do not allow old wounds to convince you that beautiful things are no longer possible. God is greater than your past. His plans are greater than your fears. His promises are greater than your doubts. There is still joy waiting for you. There is still love waiting for you. There is still a testimony waiting to be revealed. The same hands that carried you through difficult seasons will lead you into seasons of blessing. And when you finally see the answer to your prayers, you will understand why God asked you to trust Him. You will see that every delay had meaning. Every lesson had value. Every step brought you closer to His perfect plan. So continue believing. The story God is writing for you is not ordinary. It is a story of grace. A story of restoration. A story of faithfulness. And the chapter ahead may become the very chapter you once prayed for. Trust His timing. Trust His heart. Trust the author of your story. Because with God, the ending is always more beautiful than we imagined. And as you step closer to the fulfillment of God's promises, remember that every great testimony begins with a season of trust. There are moments when God works quietly. There are moments when the answer seems far away. But even in the silence, heaven is moving. God is preparing moments that will remind you why you continued believing. The day will come when you will see the purpose behind every lesson. You will understand why certain people left. Why certain opportunities passed. Why some prayers required more time. God was not taking something away from you. He was making room for something better. He was protecting your heart. He was strengthening your faith. He was preparing a future that could carry the blessing you asked for. When the right person enters your life, you will recognize that God's peace is greater than your past fears. There will be a sense of gratitude instead of regret. There will be joy instead of confusion. There will be confidence that God was guiding every step. You will realize that true love is not only about finding someone who makes you happy. It is about finding someone who helps you grow closer to God's purpose. Together, you will create memories that become reminders of His faithfulness. Together, you will face challenges with courage. Together, you will discover that a relationship built on God can withstand the storms of life. So keep your heart ready. Keep becoming the person you are praying to meet. Keep growing in kindness. Keep walking in faith. Because God is preparing a blessing that will match the person He is shaping you into. The waiting season will not be the final chapter. It will become the beginning of a beautiful testimony. One day you will look back and say, "Lord, thank you for not giving me what I wanted too soon. Thank you for giving me what was truly meant for me." The promise is approaching. The purpose is unfolding. The story is still being written. And the God who started this journey will be faithful until the very end. And when God finally brings two hearts together, you will understand that the waiting was never just about time passing. It was about transformation. It was about growth. It was about becoming ready for a blessing that required a stronger version of you. The moment you prayed for will arrive differently than you imagined. It will not only be a meeting between two people. It will be a reminder of God's faithfulness. You will see how every experience shaped you. Every hardship taught you. Every season of loneliness brought you closer to understanding the value of true companionship. The person God places in your life will not be perfect. But they will be someone willing to grow, love, and walk beside you through every season. Together, you will learn that love is not only found in beautiful moments. It is also found in patience during difficult days. In forgiveness after misunderstandings. In choosing each other again and again. God's greatest blessings are often deeper than what we first imagined. He does not simply bring someone into your life. He prepares a partnership where two souls can encourage each other, serve together, and reflect His love. When you look back, you will see that every unanswered prayer was carrying a hidden blessing. The closed doors were protection. The delays were preparation. The waiting was a lesson in trust. So continue to walk forward with hope. Do not allow fear to control your heart. Do not allow the past to steal your expectation for the future. Your story is still unfolding. The same God who guided you through uncertainty will guide you into joy. The same God who saw your tears will celebrate your testimony. And one day, you will stand in the blessing you once prayed for and say, God's timing was better than my own. Because His plans are never rushed. His promises are never forgotten. And His love never fails. The next chapter is coming. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Keep walking with Him. Your beautiful testimony is still being written. And as God's beautiful plan continues to unfold, you will begin to see that the greatest miracles often happen after the longest seasons of faith. There was a time when you only had a promise. There was a time when you only had a prayer. There was a time when you had to believe without seeing. But faith has always been about trusting God before the answer appears. Every day you chose hope over fear. Every moment you chose prayer over worry. Every time you decided to keep believing. God saw it all. Nothing was wasted. The tears you shed became a testimony. The lessons you learned became wisdom. The waiting you endured became strength. God was preparing a story that would not only bless you, but would also inspire others who are still walking through their own seasons of waiting. When the blessing arrives, you will not only celebrate what God gave you. You will celebrate the person you became while trusting Him. You will realize that the journey was just as important as the destination. Because God was teaching you to love with a pure heart. To serve with humility. To forgive with grace. To trust with patience. And when you finally hold the answer to your prayers, you will understand. God was never absent. He was working in every unseen detail. The moments that felt like delays were actually divine arrangements. The seasons that felt lonely were moments where God was building your foundation. So continue to move forward. Keep your heart full of gratitude. Keep your spirit full of faith. Keep your eyes focused on God's promises. The future He has prepared is greater than the fears you carry today. Your story is becoming a reminder that God restores. God renews. God fulfills. And when the time is right, you will look back and say, every chapter was necessary. Every step had a purpose. Every moment brought me closer to God's perfect plan. The journey continues. The promise remains. And the best chapters are still ahead. Trust Him, because the author of your story is still writing. And as you enter the next chapter of your journey, may your heart remember one eternal truth. God's plans are not limited by time, circumstances, or what the eyes can see. There were seasons when you wondered if your prayers would ever be answered. There were moments when hope felt difficult to hold on to. There were days when you questioned whether the dream inside your heart was still possible. But God was quietly preparing something beyond what you could imagine. He was arranging details you could not see. He was protecting you from things you did not know. He was guiding your steps toward a future filled with purpose. The blessing you receive will carry the evidence of His faithfulness. You will recognize that it was not only about finding love. It was about finding a love that brings peace, growth, and a deeper connection with God. A love where two hearts choose kindness. A love where two souls choose patience. A love where both people continue to walk together through every season of life. And when challenges come, you will remember that God brought you together for a reason. The foundation built during the waiting season will become your strength during the storms. You will look back and realize that every moment of preparation had meaning. The loneliness taught you appreciation. The struggles taught you compassion. The waiting taught you trust. Nothing God allows is without purpose. So keep believing in the journey. Do not rush what God is carefully creating. Do not fear the unknown when the one who holds tomorrow is guiding you. Your future is not forgotten. Your prayers are not unheard. Your story is not unfinished. The same God who carried you through yesterday is already present in your tomorrow. And one day, you will see the full picture and understand. The waiting was not a delay. It was God's way of preparing a blessing that could last. Keep your faith strong. Keep your heart peaceful. Keep walking with God. Because the most beautiful chapters of your testimony are still being revealed. And as you continue this beautiful journey of faith, remember that God's work in your life is always deeper than what you can see. Sometimes we ask God for one blessing, but He begins preparing many blessings connected to it. He does not only prepare the moment you are waiting for. He prepares your heart, your character, your wisdom, and your faith to carry that moment with gratitude. The journey has changed you. You are no longer the same person who started praying for this promise. You have grown through every challenge. You have become stronger through every season. You have learned to trust God even when the answer was not immediately visible. And that growth is a blessing too. When God brings His plans together, you will recognize His fingerprints in every detail. You will see how certain paths crossed. How certain moments happened at the right time. How things that once seemed confusing were actually part of a greater design. God's timing does not always match our expectations. But it always carries His wisdom. The love, joy, and peace He prepares are not built on temporary feelings. They are built on a foundation of faith, commitment, and purpose. So do not look back with regret. Every chapter taught you something. Every experience shaped you. Every prayer brought you closer to the person God created you to become. The future is not something you have to fear. It is something you can enter with confidence because God is already there. One day, you will see why you had to wait. You will understand why the journey took the path it did. You will thank God for every moment that brought you closer to His plan. Until then, keep loving. Keep believing. Keep growing. The God who wrote the beginning of your story is still writing the middle. And the ending will be more beautiful than you ever imagined. Your testimony is not just about what God will give you. It is about who God is making you become. Trust the process. Trust the promise. Trust the one who holds your future. Because His plans are always worth waiting for. And as the beautiful plan of God continues to unfold, there will come a day when you will no longer have to imagine the answer to your prayers. You will see it. You will experience it. You will understand why God asked you to wait. The moments that once felt painful will become reminders of His goodness. You will look back and say, "Now I understand why God protected me. Now I understand why He asked me to be patient. Now I understand why His timing was better than mine." Because God was never just preparing a blessing. He was preparing a testimony. A testimony that shows how He can restore hope after disappointment. How He can bring peace after uncertainty. How He can create something beautiful from seasons that seemed impossible. The love God prepares will not be built on temporary emotions. It will be built on a foundation that can stand through changing seasons. There will be laughter and there will be challenges. There will be celebrations and there will be lessons. But through it all, God's presence will remain the greatest strength. You will learn that true love is not about finding someone who completes your life. It is about walking alongside someone who encourages you to become closer to God and closer to the purpose He placed within you. Every prayer you whispered was heard. Every tear you cried was seen. Every moment you chose faith was remembered. Nothing was invisible to the one who created your story. So continue forward with a heart full of gratitude. The chapter you are waiting for is not just about a person. It is about the fulfillment of God's purpose in your life. The journey has shaped you. The waiting has strengthened you. The faith has prepared you. And when the promise arrives, you will know. It was worth every prayer. It was worth every lesson. It was worth every moment of trust. Because God's greatest gifts are always wrapped in His perfect timing. The story is still unfolding. The blessing is still approaching. And the best part of your testimony is yet to be revealed. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Keep walking with God. Your beautiful chapter is coming. And as you step into the new beginning God has prepared, you will discover that every ending was making space for a greater beginning. The seasons you thought were breaking you were actually building you. The moments you thought were slowing you down were actually guiding you toward the right path. God was shaping your heart for a future filled with purpose. There will come a time when you will no longer look at the waiting as a difficult season. You will see it as a sacred journey that brought you closer to who you were meant to become. You will understand that God was teaching you patience because He was preparing something lasting. He was teaching you faith because He was preparing something meaningful. He was teaching you surrender because He wanted you to experience His perfect plan. When the right chapter begins, you will feel the peace that comes from knowing it was written by God. You will not need to force what He has prepared. You will not need to chase what He has ordained. What is meant for you through His purpose will come with grace, peace, and confirmation. And as you walk forward, remember this. Your value was never measured by how quickly your prayers were answered. You were already loved. You were already chosen. You were already held in God's hands. The blessing ahead is not proof that God finally remembered you. It is proof that He was faithful all along. So keep your heart joyful. Keep your faith strong. Keep your eyes on God. Because the same hands that carried you through the waiting season will guide you into the season of fulfillment. One day, you will stand in the middle of the blessing you once prayed for and realize, God was writing a story far greater than I could have imagined. The journey continues. The purpose remains. The promise is alive. And the most beautiful pages of your story are still waiting to be written. And as the next pages of your story begin to unfold, you will discover that God's greatest blessings are not only found in the moments of arrival, but also in the journey that prepares your heart to receive them. The love you have prayed for will not simply be a dream fulfilled. It will become a reminder of God's patience, kindness, and faithfulness. You will see that every prayer, every tear, and every moment of waiting was part of a greater purpose. God was preparing two hearts. Two journeys. Two stories that would come together at the right moment. Before the reunion, there was growth. Before the blessing, there was preparation. Before the joy, there was a season of trusting without seeing. But now you will understand that nothing was wasted. Every lesson made you wiser. Every challenge made you stronger. Every season brought you closer to the person God created you to be. The relationship God blesses will not be perfect because people are not perfect. But it will be filled with grace. It will be filled with forgiveness. It will be filled with a desire to honor God through love and commitment. Together, you will learn that a lasting bond is built one day at a time. Through ordinary mornings. Through difficult conversations. Through choosing love even when life is not easy. And when storms come, you will remember the foundation that was built during the waiting. You will remember that God brought you together for a reason. So keep your heart ready for what He is preparing. Keep becoming the person you are praying to meet. Keep growing in faith. Keep walking in love. Because the God who saw your beginning already knows your forever. The promise is not forgotten. The blessing is not delayed without purpose. The story is not finished. A beautiful future is still unfolding. And one day, you will look back and say, every moment of waiting was worth it, because God was preparing something greater than I ever imagined. Trust His timing. Trust His plan. Trust His unfailing love. The best chapter is still ahead.